Okay, so what if I told you that there's a book from 1960 that has sold over 35 million copies, and it's basically the secret blueprint for almost every self-help program out there today? It's called Psycho-Cybernetics, and its big idea is actually pretty simple. You can steer your mind just like a guided missile to hit any goal you want. So how on earth does that work?
Well, the story starts with a really interesting question. The author, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, he wasn't a psychologist or a guru. He was a very well-respected plastic surgeon. So you have to wonder, right? What did he see on the operating table that led him to write one of the most influential books ever on how the mind works?
You know, in the beginning, Dr. Maltz was thrilled with his work. He saw that by changing a person's physical appearance, maybe fixing a bad scar or a crooked nose, he could literally transform their whole life. Their entire personality would just blossom. It must have felt like he had a magic wand. And the results he saw were just incredible. I mean, people who were painfully shy would suddenly become bold and outgoing. He tells a story about a boy who was teased relentlessly for his looks, who then grew up to be this super sharp, successful executive. A salesman who'd lost his confidence, got it all back, and started crushing it again. He even saw a hardened criminal completely change his ways. It really seemed like the scalpel was performing miracles.
But here's the thing. The magic didn't always work. And as Maltz himself said, it was his failures, not his successes, that really forced him to dig deeper for the truth. He started to realize that changing the physical face, that wasn't the real answer. Something else was going on.
And this was the baffling problem he kept running into. He'd give a patient a brand new, beautiful, technically perfect face, but inside, they'd still be clinging to their old, insecure personality. Maltz talks about this one patient, a duchess, who got a new nose and was by all accounts beautiful, but she just kept insisting she was ugly. She had the new face, but she couldn't let go of those old feelings of being less than. This puzzle is what led him to his big breakthrough.
Maltz had this incredible insight. He realized that our personality has a face too, but it's not a physical one. And this led him to the absolute core idea of Psycho-Cybernetics, the self-image. This, he said, is the master program that's running the show, controlling who you are and everything you're capable of.
So what exactly is this self-image? Well, it's your own private mental picture of you. It's the deep-down belief you hold about the sort of person you are. It's not the face in the mirror, it's what Maltz called the face of the personality. It's essentially the internal blueprint that dictates how you show up in the world.
And the power of this self-image is just staggering. Maltz's claim is that everything you do, feel, and believe, even the skills you have, will always line up with this internal picture. You literally cannot act in a way that goes against the person you truly deep down believe yourself to be.
So here's the bottom line. You act like the person you think you are. If you see yourself as a failure-type person, you will find a way to fail. It's almost unconscious. Your willpower doesn't stand a chance. But if you see yourself as a success-type person, you'll find a way to succeed. Your outer world just becomes a mirror of your inner world.
Okay, so if changing our self-image is the target, how do we actually do it? This is where Maltz did something brilliant. He connected his observations to what was then a cutting-edge science, cybernetics, which is the study of how systems achieve goals.
And to get this, you have to grasp a really critical distinction he made. Your brain is not your mind. Instead, your brain and your whole nervous system are like this incredible piece of machinery, a servo mechanism, that your mind, your consciousness, gets to operate. You have a machine, you are not the machine.
Think about it like a guided torpedo. What's the first thing you do? You give it a target. That's your job, to set a clear goal. Then you let it go. The torpedo's internal system takes over. It uses what's called negative feedback. Anytime it veers off course, it senses the error and automatically corrects itself until, boom, it hits the target. Your brain works in exactly the same way.
But, and this is a really big but, the mechanism is totally impersonal. It doesn't care what goal you give it. If you feed it a positive goal, an image of you succeeding, it becomes your success mechanism. But if you feed it negative goals, images of failure, worry, and doubt, it will work just as hard and just as faithfully to make those your reality. It just runs whatever program you install.
So how do we make sure we're programming this thing for success?
Maltz's answer is both simple and incredibly powerful. We use our imagination. He gave this process a great name. He called it using the theater of your mind.
Now, the scientific reason this works is pretty mind-blowing. It turns out that your nervous system can't actually tell the difference between an experience you're really having and one that you're just imagining vividly. Let me say that again. For your brain, imagining success is a form of real practice.
And hey, this isn't just some nice idea. There's real data. In one famous study, a group of students practiced shooting basketball free throws for 20 days. They got 24% better. A second group did nothing, and they got 0% better. No surprise there. But the third group, for 20 minutes a day, they just imagined making perfect shots. They didn't touch a basketball. The result? They improved by 23%, almost identical to the people who physically practiced. Their minds literally built the skill.
So how can you do this? Maltz laid out a really clear technique. First, you get comfortable and just relax. Then, you search your memory for a past success. Doesn't matter how big or small. The key is to relive it until you can feel those positive emotions again, that specific winning feeling. Once you've got a hold of that feeling, you project it onto a future goal, imagining that future success with the same emotional intensity.
And this brings us to the final, crucial piece of the puzzle from Psycho-Cybernetics. It's not just about seeing pictures in your head. It's about capturing a certain feeling that quite literally gears you up for success.
That winning feeling we've been talking about? It's not just a nice mood. Maltz saw it as a powerful signal. It's like a green light on your internal dashboard, confirming that your guidance system is locked onto a positive target. When you can generate that feeling on purpose, you know you've successfully programmed yourself for success. Now, a word of caution. Don't expect this to work overnight. From his work with patients, Maltz noticed a pattern. It takes a minimum of about 21 days for an old, negative mental image to start dissolving, and for a new, positive one to really take hold and feel solid.
So his advice is super clear. Don't constantly analyze if it's working. Don't get discouraged on day 3. Just reserve judgment. Commit to practicing for at least 3 weeks. You have to give your brain the time it needs to build and fully accept this new, more successful version of you.
The amazing thing is, the power to change your self-image, to literally steer your own life, it's already inside you. You don't need anything else. So the only question left is this one. What success from your past, what little win, can you choose to relive in the theater of your mind today to start capturing that winning feeling right now?